What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you, as always, by Off the Record. We love Off the Record, and here's why you should too. All of us have been in a situation where we were doing something in our car that maybe we shouldn't, strictly by the letter of the law, been doing. We got caught, but we are smart. We don't plead guilty, we call Off the Record. Off the Record is a service that pairs you, dear offender, with a local lawyer or law firm that is in the jurisdiction where you got pulled over. They will fight those tickets on your behalf, and if they don't get the points off your record, you don't pay. It's a very straightforward system. You just sign up for Off the Record at offtherecord.com/TST. You send in a photo of the ticket along with a brief explanation of what happened, and they go to work. You might not hear from them for a while, but usually they come back and go, "Hey, buddy, guess what? That thing that happened, well, it's gone." And that's just the best. I love that feeling. And I know you guys do too, because you send me a lot of emails telling me that Off the Record saved your backsides out there on the road. So go to offtherecord.com/TST. That's offtherecord.com/TST and save 10% with all legal services, big or small, booked through Off the Record. Use them. Don't forget about them because, man, will they save you money and headaches. All right. On this episode of the podcast, Zach and I are back from a 2-week vacationary hiatus in which content had been auto-populating for a while now. I was in Italy doing non-car things, and Zach was up in Northern California doing the most car thing, having his own little vintage race with a bunch of other lunatics at a very hot Thunderhill. Also, we have some thoughts on the new Ford FX Fox Body Tribute package for the Mustang. We talk about our friends Thomas and James from Throttle House getting a gig on the Grand Tour. Holy bejesus, and a whole lot more. Welcome back to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Did you not stain remove that hoodie?
I did. New stain.
Is that from today?
It's from like yesterday, and I didn't even notice. I looked down, and I was like, fuck.
That's why, like, that's how you know, like, that color hoodie, that's rich folks shit.
That's what we said. Yeah. I just have to take it off when I do anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's from.
In order to wear that, you have to be like, no, I don't make a mess when I eat or drink, and also my shit doesn't stink when I drop a deuce or fart. I also don't fart.
I didn't think I was a messy eater, and I was just being normal, but it's like one drop of something fly. Like, that's all it takes. And I guess I don't realize, because I wear a lot of black T-shirts, I don't realize how much food is actually flying toward my face.
You got to have you have to be, that's why, like, we have a customer here at the shop who I'm not going to use their name, but their nickname is white T-shirt and then the person's actual first name. And he pretty much embraces it because his white T-shirts are a one-time use white T-shirts. And I thought, like, and to say that to someone, it sounds like crazy and wasteful.
It
is sort of both of those things. Unfortunately, at a certain level of wealth, it's never like I'm never saying it's a net good, but if you do out the math, if you make enough money, it's the kind of money where if you buy white T-shirts in bulk, you could. It's like it's not that much, like compared to whatever you make that year.
Right. Like there's no math on this is worth it, but it's not. It's infinitesimally small.
Yeah,
for
it's
them.
It's a small enough number where this person doesn't even have to consider it in their budgeting.
Right.
Like. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Like
they work at like a marinara factory, and they're just like, I wear it once, it gets red, and then I throw it away.
It was a lot of money, but like we did it out, and like it was basically like 5 days a week. We assumed it wasn't every day, so it was like 5 days a week for a year. And like if you bought like a pseudo designer T-shirt, but it was in bulk, like it was like $1,600 for the year.
But it's 260 shirts.
Yeah.
So that times 40.
If you buy them, like if you buy that many, like they're cheap. If they're just white, non-printed, You know, when you're buying T-shirts, like when we've sold T-shirts, it's like the cost of the shirt is like fucking bullshit. It's the cost of the
design and the graphic.
And if you're not trying to do like if it's white and if it's designed to be like an undershirt, basically,
true. Very true.
You know, it came out to like $4 or $5 a shirt, and you're like, oh well, like if you're making like $3 million a year, like I can see how that happens. I just can.
Right. The money is obviously doesn't matter to this person.
No, it's ridiculously wasteful.
Right. Yeah,
it's ridiculously wasteful.
Silly.
But that's what the reason I started down that road is because Zach's beautiful swag singer hoodie, I've never seen it not stained, but he washes it every time he wears it. And I said,
it got stained on day 2, and I spent a full day de-staining a chocolate stain, and I got it out, and now I don't know what I ate yesterday.
But I'm just trying to say that color is rich folk shit.
You can't wear it all the time. You have to take it off.
Yeah.
You need a dinner jacket and a non-dinner jacket.
You know what that is? That is a 3,000-mile E46 M3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Its value is in its pristineness.
Can't do anything with it.
Can't do shit with it.
Is it cold and you want to eat soup? Not in that sweatshirt. Put on your eating sweatshirt.
Bro, I just got back from Italy and like, man, dude, the battle of linen versus red sauce was fucking on.
Yeah, there's olive oil on everything and it flies around. Yeah. I will say, if you want to have a good dinner sweatshirt, get a Smoking Tire sweatshirt because our sweatshirts are black.
Yeah. I will hide your grime.
That's what we do.
Yeah, dude. But I would love, we have to have the light leather in the Taycan that over time, turns blue from my jeans. And Hannah's clothes, like I have to have the guys like every 6 months. But like if I could have a whole suit of that, it'd be my driving suit.
It would be nice. Yeah. It's so strange that like back in the day, it was probably just because it was cheaper, but like, racing outfits and like Ken Miles, his racing suit I think was white. Yeah. Mechanic suits were white because it was cheaper to just bleach the cotton.
No,
than
I think
dye it dark blue or something.
You don't think it was just team colors? I think it was just their team's color. I think other teams had other. They had
That's
colors.
A good point.
Other
Ferrari
teams
had
wore other colors. I think.
What a choice!
They didn't all wear white, but yeah.
Oh, man, at Lemons, we don't have to jump. Not to jump ahead.
Let's talk about Lemons.
There was a team there.
Zach went racing.
I went racing at Lemons. It had to be one of the hottest Lemons ever.
You told me before you left, you're like, dude, the thing says it's going to be 105.
108. Willows, California, Thunder Hill. They did a 25-hour
in the summer.
They did a 25-hour 1-minute race because they wanted it to be the longest race, I think, in the United States, if not the country.
Really?
Like, for the year.
Really?
So 25 hours and 1
Clapman's
minute.
in the record books. Participated in the country's longest race. To this point.
Right. I participated in a lot of it, but not all of it.
Does that happen like throughout the year? Like is VIR going to like retaliate in September and do like the 25 hour?
And then Chappelle will eventually host the longest race the world has ever known.
And then our commenters are going to be like,
Well, apparently, I guess, it was at IMSA, whichever organization was running the 24-hour Thunder Hill decided not to do it this year. And so the slot was open. And I think Thunder Hill had already had it cleared by the county.
We don't need IMSA.
Right.
We'll do our own.
Well, Lemons was like, hey, we'll take the spot. And so that's what they did. Full overnight, lights. What did they say? They said there's just enough lights out there to keep it interesting. And that is accurate.
Yeah?
Like,
does that mean there's about half the amount of lights that there should have been?
Well, depends on what you mean by should have been. If you want to be able to see the track clearly, they need 5 times the lights they had. Because they expect you to bring headlights and that you go through tech, they require you to show that you have functioning headlights.
Functioning has got a big
bingo.
spread.
Bingo. The definition is broad, and people explored both ends of it.
Yeah.
So some people had like full rally lights, and they get behind you and blind you, and we had like high quality LED Holley headlights, but we only had 2 of them on our Ford Ranchero, and those did dick.
Yeah.
When you're out.
Dude, remember when I did VIR in that shitty E30 and we had the crappy like Chinese LEDs from 15 years ago?
Oh, right.
And then
Terrible.
It rained?
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Yeah, this was 2016. We had a light bar and it was not at all good.
Yeah. VIR had no lights. VIR is the
correct.
darkest place I've ever been.
Yeah, that was not. I thought about that a lot when we were signing up for this thing, and I was like, "Ooh, they had to deal with like a defroster issue, which we did
Okay,
not."
so did the car last?
So it was a '64 Ranchero. It has a 302 that's punched out to 331. It's pretty spicy. It's got probably 300 horsepower. Holley EFI system, 4-speed top loader transmission. They've been racing this car for a decade. So Jeff Glucker of Hooniverse, he's been on the show a lot. Him and his friend Tim Odell, who helped him create Hooniverse, they've been racing this car in various iterations. Started with 3-speed on the tree and a inline 6, and I'm really glad I didn't join at that time.
That sounds terrible.
Lemons is amazing for so many reasons, and you see slow cars out there that are like they're there for the art or to have a good time, but it looks boring to me to be a rolling chicane.
It stinks
for 25 hours. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
If it's literally your first race, get in a slow car. But fuck me.
Yeah.
What a terrible
And some of
time.
those teams, to be fair, did beat us because we had mechanical issues. But I think the sweet spot is if you can drive at least half the race at high speed and then something goes wrong, I'd take that over slow pace car. Anyway. So the car's got I had never driven the car before. I think I got in second stint. It was like 100 degrees outside. No cool shirt situation.
And no practice. You haven't turned a wheel until hot track?
Sorry. We did. We signed up for Test and Tune Day Friday.
Yeah.
Which I paid for my own my time. They paid for theirs, $250. Car had some issues. So I think I got 6 laps of getting to know you.
Yeah.
And our other new driver did as well. And then what we were having is a fueling issue where it seemed like the fuel was boiling. Do you remember?
Cavitating.
Bingo. Remember when we experienced that with...
I experienced it a couple times.
Not Bozy. Busy.
Yes.
So we filmed this 1,000 horsepower
That
Porsche.
also happened in with my Fox body because I put in a fuel pump that was too big. It was flowing too much fuel, and it was circulating that hot fuel back into the tank. And I learned then that bigger is not always better.
I think that our main tech person was learning that lesson, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. What's funny is that was happening to me when the car was like, when I was in traffic. It's not the kind of thing that would happen when I was romping on.
Right.
But this could be the same problem.
Yeah.
You're flowing a lot more fuel than you can get into the motor. The rest of it goes right back into the tank after going past a very hot engine.
So, and I brought that up because the person who like maintains the car, he's a like biomedical engineer by trade, like smart person, all the tools I've ever seen in the world, which we needed.
If the car has a heart attack, I bet he could diagnose.
He diagnosed a lot of stuff. I was honestly very impressed. But
I poke fun.
Oh, of course. But this was like a very new situation because he had put in a new fuel system, and I told him the story about Busy, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So the next morning, they go to O'Reilly's, they buy a transmission cooler, and they put that in the fuel return line in the truck bed. Now, I've never seen this. You have an air-cooled...
No way.
You have an
I've never
fuel
seen a
system.
heat exchanger in a...
I bet
Unless
no one
I
has.
have. Maybe I have, and I've just not looked for it, but that sounds new to me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Maybe the Veyron has one. I don't know.
Did it work?
It did.
Cool.
It did. So on Friday, Test and Tune, the car ran like garbage, and it's idling weird and stuff, and then they put this thing in. They literally get it done 10 minutes before green flag. Green flag goes... Car drives an hour and 20 minutes until the driver can't handle the heat anymore because it was 108 degrees. And then we started swapping. And the car ran pretty good for like 15 hours. Now, we definitely had to bring it in and look at things now and then, and we knew we weren't going to win anything. But there was nothing catastrophic like all the way through the night until, I think, 6 a.m. When I drove it at night, it had a stumbling issue. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But this car fucking rocks, dude. When it was running well, this thing's like 2,700 pounds.
Yeah.
Suspension, however they did this, it's great. It feels like a really agile, tight, possibly slightly too firm old Mustang.
Yeah, it's like Fox body shit, right?
It's a Falcon. It's a Falcon, which is basically a Mustang.
Yeah.
And it's,
Fox body-based cars are good Lemons cars. Were you shifting at like 4,800?
No, we could go to 6.
Were you shifting at 6?
Yeah, and they said it would go to 7, and I was like, no, I'll Well, I'll chill.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy.
With a Fox body motor, not much happens between 6 and 7.
This thing comes on cam pretty good.
Does it?
At like $4.5 grand.
What cam? Do you know what cam it was?
I have no idea. It had a lot of shiny stuff, and
Cool.
when it ran well, dude, it fucking cooked. And
Sweet.
like Lemons is so fun if you're a mid-pack car. So we're Class C, meaning there's Class B and A or more advanced, etc., and then there's like D and E. C is great because you're faster than like half the field, but you're not timing, you're not freaking out about your pit stops, you're not as aggressive as some of the other cars, and your budget is probably smaller. So we were passing people and dicing up and stuff, and then a Corvette C5 goes by at like a 20 mile per hour delta.
Yeah.
There was a Thunderbird out there that I had amazing battles with. Like I've never had my front bumper so close to another car's rear bumper unless I was hitting them like parallel parking.
Yeah.
And in the corners, I was just up this person's ass, but on the straightaway, you just hear whatever they built under that hood go, and they just walk us a little bit. Man, it's so fun. I had the most amazing time.
Great.
And racing old shit, I felt like I was in Poor Man's Goodwood.
Oh, yeah,
Because
you're vintage racing.
I'm vintage
you
racing.
You are vintage racing.
The car is sliding.
Yeah.
Like all over when you want it to, but just those little slides around, big third gear corners.
And you have to use like a DOT tire, right? You're not
We're on Toyos.
Yeah, well, so the car's going to move a little bit. It's not. It's not a stuck car,
especially when it's hot. I mean,
that's a fucking
it got
good
greasy.
time. And
Dude,
it's full course, right?
Full course. No. Sorry, it was only 3 mile. So East course.
So East course.
But
Okay,
with the hill.
With the hill.
The hill is interesting.
Yes, it is. How about in the dark? Is there a light there?
Yes.
There's a light on the hill.
There's a light that illuminates that the hill is there. Okay. And I had a oopsie in the dark on the hill. It was not a Tavares oopsie. But I was trying to figure out if I could brake later to like shave some time because we can get to the times in a moment. And I braked a little too late, and I locked up the tires. And then in the moment, I went, "Oh, I've locked up the tires. I need to release." But now I'm freaked out because I'm heading towards the grass, which I am now in. Like that's how the moment happens.
Yeah.
So I went off into the grass at like 10, and.
But then you just drove right back onto the track.
Yep, I drove back on.
Was there a penalty? Was it a 4-off penalty?
There would have been. There's supposed to be. You know, for people who don't know, like if you go 4 off, you get black flagged at Lemons, and they ask you why you did what you did. Mm-hmm. So I just went to the judge's stand and said, "Hey, I just did this," and they're like, "All right, we hadn't flagged you yet, but like, what happened? How do you feel?" Because they were really checking in with people for heat exhaustion.
Yeah,
because it was a fucking problem.
Yeah,
so they want to make sure
you're
you're still. It was 90 degrees at that point. It cooled down to like 70 at 4 a.m.
Yeah, bet that was great. Other than being like tripping from being tired, I bet it was a delight at 70. Except it was probably so windy.
No.
Oh, no?
Very little. Like,
nice.
Perfect wind.
Cool.
The 2 guys that drove at night drove long stints. They said the car ran good. Our teammate posted the fastest time of the team at night, which made Glucker very upset. And then I was going to get Dawn Patrol, but I gave it to Jeff because I was like, it's such a special thing, and I was like, I just joined this team. You've been doing this a decade. Like, you should have Dawn Patrol.
Okay,
that's
nice of you.
And then he got in, and then the car stumbled and fucked up, so he actually didn't get like a good run, which sucks. I still, it's the thought that counts.
Well, better for that to happen with him in the car than for you to do it, and he doesn't get to drive at all.
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Because then I would have wondered, did I do something wrong? Which I didn't. But I had already done enough of that.
Listen, if the car is going to take a dump, better for it to take a dump when you're not driving. There is no question.
Very true.
The guest, the house guest, did not break the car.
The good news is everyone got to share that responsibility throughout the weekend. Everybody got to experience strange idling, cutting off, fuel leak occasionally, clutch pedal breaking. That was me. The throttle stop thing I snapped off by accident and had to pull back in because the throttle wouldn't return but wouldn't go down. Yeah.
Oh,
old
cool.
stuff. Yeah. Lemon stuff.
How was the driving position for your stint?
Pretty good.
Really?
Only because when I first got there, the seat was leaned back, and I went, I almost straight arm, even when the seat was slid all the way forward. And Glucker advocated, he's like, I've been asking to change this seat. Can we just do that? And we tilted it forward, and then it was actually quite good. I mean,
you
it was like
should be
NASCAR
sitting pretty
is close.
pretty straight up and down for racing.
Yeah.
You should be a little closer to the wheel than you're probably comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know,
I think most people would, but for us, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then it had a slider because Jeff is like 6'3".
Yeah.
And I think one of the other guys on our team was like 5'9". So we had a good range there. So driving position was good. Steering feedback is okay. It's a little loosey-goosey. It's a manual rack, you know, and so many turns lock to lock. Like, you can do little slides and you feel like you're a god.
Yeah.
But God forbid it really stepped out and you'd have to do like 3 turns to catch and then, you know, you're opening like a door on a submarine. I don't think that would be a good time.
Yeah.
And I considered it. I was like, ooh, can I link some corners? Like, shut the fuck up,
No,
Zach.
don't drift a borrowed race car. Let it go. Guys, we got to take a quick break for Cash App that is sponsoring today's episode. Look, Cash App, you guys know what it is. Everyone's heard of Cash App, right? It's an easy way to share money, right? You could request a tiny amount of money. You could request a big amount of money. You can split bills. You know, you go to dinner. Oh, just get me back next time, or just split it through Cash App. It's great. Making money move around should be very easy. We don't even want to go out with a wallet anymore. We're just doing it all on our phone now. Cash App makes it easy. It's fast, safe, and way more personalized than other apps out there. There's no extra hoops to jump through. All of the tools are right there to help you cash in. Sending money with Cash App does actually feel safe. They're looking out for you. They will warn you if they think that a money that you're trying to send could be a potential scam. It'll make you think twice before hitting send, like having a personal bodyguard for your money. You can either spice up your payments with custom text, stamps, and backgrounds. Why should paying your friend back for brunch ever be so boring? It's so easy. And if for some insane reason you don't already have Cash App, download it from your app store, sign up, enter code SMOKING in your profile, send $5 to a friend, and you'll get $10 just for getting started. It's like nothing. It's so easy. And Cash App is now, for a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. That's right. There's no catch. Download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code SMOKING in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right back into your account. Sending $5 to your friend is a 100% return on your investment guaranteed. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. We've also got support today from Delete Me. I've been talking about Delete Me for a while now, and over these past few months, I have really seen some major changes, both in the reduction of spam and scam phone calls and texts, and in a reduction of emails. Delete Me is awesome. They make it quick, they make it easy, and they make it safe to remove your personal data from the internet at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everybody vulnerable. They do all the hard work, right? Delete Me will wipe you and your family's personal information off of data broker websites very efficiently. They know that your privacy is worth protecting. So all you have to do is sign up and provide Delete Me with the information that you want deleted. I signed up and I gave them my previous addresses, right? My previous phone numbers, my previous email addresses, the contact information of my family, of my close friends, and anything I don't want out for sale. Right? It took me a little while to fill it out because honestly, I've lived in 5 or 6 different places as an adult. I've had a few different phone numbers, a few different email addresses, different jobs, and Delete Me goes to work. You don't hear from them for a couple of days, but then they send you a personalized privacy report showing what they found, where they found it, what they removed, and there's a couple things you have to do, take a few of your own actions to get fully removed, but then they keep going. Every month I get a report saying new things they found, new things they've removed. It's not one and done. Delete Me is an ongoing online security portal. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire and enter code TIRE at checkout. Again, that's joindeleteme.com/tire, code TIRE. And now, back to the program. You said you had times. What are we talking about here?
So I went out on my first stint was my best when it was the hottest because the car was having problems on my second one. And I ran a 226.
Okay.
Which they radioed and they're like, hey, that's good. Like, you're doing well. And I got in, and I came back in. I was inconsistent because something I've learned is managing traffic is a skill of its own.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard. I would run quick and then putting pieces together, and then I'd get up to traffic, and I was too nice. I was like, they'll move. They know I'm loud and fast. Like, I don't want to dive bomb. It's too early in the day. What if someone turns in? I was very, like, trying to protect the car too much.
Yeah.
Which was smart.
It's understandable.
It was an endurance race.
It's the kind of thing that people criticize doing when they've never driven a borrowed race car.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When you're driving a borrowed race car, it's a little, you're not going to necessarily send it.
That's true. And I hadn't been to Thunderhill, I think, in 7 years.
Yeah.
And Jeff's raced it like every year with Lemons, so he was more familiar. So I came back in, and my time was good. And then Jeff got in the car, and he ran 225s, but like very consistent lap to lap. So I'm very impressed with his ability to manage traffic. Mm-hmm. And then our guy Scott went out at night and ran like a 222, and it was much cooler, probably nicer on the tires, better power. But Jeff never got to defeat that time, which is probably bothering him as he listens to this show right now. And I understand why. But
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's good.
It's the fucking best, man.
Yeah. Cheap racing is great.
Cheap racing is great, but I watched the Goodwood Festival or Revival footage like ad nauseum on Instagram because I just think the movement of the cars is so good.
Yeah.
You can get that if you race an old thing at Lemons. Don't race an E46 or whatever, new thing. Like, that'll feel like modern sports car driving, which we do all the time. Mm-hmm. But this was the different flavor, and it was the best.
Yeah, you don't have to you could bring Goodwood to you. You could have your own Goodwood.
I'm fucking telling you, man. I was yelling in the car,
a very fun,
having so much fun.
Concept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so maybe we need to do that. Maybe we need to build a cheap vintage racer.
Yeah.
You know who's going to care about that? Fucking nobody.
Oh,
We're
sure,
going to do
course.
a project car that will be instant fucking death.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we go to VARA. What is it, right?
Cool.
Vintage Auto Racing Association.
No one's gonna like this.
No one will. We could just talk about it on the show for 2 minutes and then not make a video about it.
Yeah, nobody's gonna like this at all.
But we'll like it.
But we could have fun.
You should join.
I don't want to build it though. We should just fucking look on Racing Junk and buy somebody's.
That's the way to go.
Vintage race car.
Yeah.
We don't even have to do that. I guarantee you, at least 3 people listening to this show want out of their vintage race car right now and will unprompted message.
That's true.
About
if
it.
you have something with decent horsepower,
the mountain will come to Muhammad Habibi.
Yeah, that's a good point. Something with a V8 would be preferable because I saw how much work Sam Smith put into that 2002 vintage race car, and it seems very complicated for that engine to try to go fast. And let's go V8.
Yeah. I want to be more Trans Am. I don't need to be 2-liter.
It's the best.
If we're gonna do that, but I want a real steering rack. Like a standard Fox body rack is the bare minimum that I'll go. I want to feel like a 60s vibe, but I don't want to steer 60s.
I agree.
60s steering sucks my ass.
I would change that if I could have. Sure.
Yeah, I hated steering that Parnelli Jones car.
Oh, I didn't get to feel it.
Actually, it's a sacrilege because it's like a special car. Like, I didn't like driving that. I didn't like how it drove.
Sure.
But
that's fine.
In fact, I wonder do we need to go 60s? If we did a Fox body race car, would that be old enough to vintage racing vibes you?
I don't. Well,
what if we went?
I don't know.
What if we went with a fucking IROC?
That's pretty old. Yeah, that would feel Trans Am-y. I like that.
IROC could be a good time.
I think that would be it. That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah. There's something about the car's stripped, bare metal, no windows in the back. There's a lot of noise, and then the movement of the car. I think you could get that, and it would feel old.
Mm-hmm. And an IROC is real garbaggio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be fun.
Something to consider. I'm glad you had a good time and didn't get heat stroke.
I drank 1.5 gallons of water on the first day, and then I stopped counting.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And I barely peed.
Yeah.
It was nuts, man.
Sounds right. I'll tell you what. When I was in Italy, didn't do anything with cars. I was driven around by people in vans, almost all of whom were horrible drivers. Really did not.
Oh wow.
Not all Italians are good drivers.
Were they aggressive or just bad?
No, just bad.
Oh.
Just like bad at driving. It was surprising, actually. I was very disappointed. You know who's really good at driving? All the boat people. We went to Venice. The fucking boat taxi people. So those are some skilled.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Those people. We went to.
Fewer things to hit, but yeah.
Right. Nah. In
just kidding.
Venice. Oh, dude. There's these
yeah.
things
I've
on
been.
the canal.
Yeah. I meant when you go from the airport, you go across the ocean thing
Oh
to
yeah,
Venice.
yeah. That's easy.
Yeah.
No, within Venice. So
Yeah.
It gets a little dicey. In
Very
there.
tight.
And then I went to Verona, which is an extremely underrated city. I can't believe I've never been there before. If you're going to Italy, I really would put Verona on your list. It's exceptional. And the Lake Como boat drivers are also very talented, and the Lake Como car drivers are not. It was a bad place for driving, but a great place for everything else.
Yeah.
But I really made a miscalculation with I'm going to try to dress nice for this whole trip because it was like 85 degrees and humid. And dressing nice for dinners and stuff, I felt really good. But I walked like 8 miles a day. I was like, I don't know why I thought a full linen outfit was the right move for this. I should have done.
What doesn't linen breathe great?
Not if you're doing exercise in stagnant humidity. It breathes great if you're at the beach and there's a breeze.
Oh.
Yeah. Otherwise, it sticks. It's not great.
I feel fashion in Europe is like a challenging thing to analyze because you go, oh, I want to look good.
Right.
And some people there look good, and some
Right.
people look terrible, but still, especially Italy,
You know what
the
it's about?
confidence
It's all
of a poorly
about
dressed
going
man.
for it. Whether it ends up
True.
looking good or bad, it's like that person
Right.
is doing it.
Neon green, super
Yeah.
tight polo shirt, but committed.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a full commitment. And I think some of my outfits, for me anyway, I don't have a lot of good photos of my outfits on Instagram, but I mean, there's a lot of just linen stuff and
the fuck is that?
Huh? That
my
is the
God.
wine list at this restaurant we went to. That was insane.
This looks like a spell book. This is
crazy.
It is a quarter the size of your body.
It's so big.
That is a 2-foot tall book. Holy
so big,
moly.
so thick, and man, did I pick a great bottle from it.
Nice.
God, I fucking love Italy so much.
It's the
It's
greatest.
so great. What else is there? I mean, I don't need to talk about my vacation so much, but like, everyone should go to Italy. Here's something that's interesting is that before I went, everyone, was sort of like it's a bad time to be an American traveling internationally, and like, despite the shit show that is happening here, the fact is nobody was hostile to us because we were Americans. I mean, we're not like flamboyantly flag waving like insane loud Americans, but like everybody was very, very nice. And the only time it came up at all in Venice, the palace in Venice, from before Venice was part of a unified Italy, it was like a sort of independent city state, and
It's called Waterworld.
The leader was called the Doge. And so
that's right.
I believe the palace is called the Doge. And so that, kind of comes up. And after 3 days in Venice, as an American, you never want to hear the word Doge again.
Yeah, the coinage of the Republic of Venice were called Doge coins.
Yeah, it's not the best. So, yeah. So that was annoying.
It's very funny.
My takeaway is if you've never been to fucking Verona, you should go. Because you know what it is? It's like if Florence, if Rome is New York City and Florence is Los Angeles, which is not exactly, not a bad metaphor. Verona is like Austin, or not like in a hip way, in like a size and manageability way, or like a Philly. Like if you're going to go somewhere for 2 days, it's like perfect amount of walkable and like local and tourist and old and new and fucking real nice. And the food is wow.
Yeah.
But like, man, while I was gone, like we loaded up shows, so we haven't been in the same room for 11 days. But like while I was gone, our city is a fucking shit show right now, and we're actually going to talk about that in its entirety tomorrow with an expert. So we'll pretend it's not happening for today, in order to stay sane, maybe. But our friends Thomas and James are apparently on the Grand Tour.
Yeah.
now, which congratulations to them. That's unbelievable.
Well deserved, for sure.
I can't wait to see how it works out with the weird train guy. You know, like that's weird as hell, right?
I completely agree, but it will either be the most intelligent choice because he's like the James May to the group, and I mean I just haven't watched a lot of his content, or we'll see.
What I've seen has been exciting for him. He is.
I mean, for fish out of water content, that's fantastic. You're like, let's just put you in fast cars and desert.
I suppose that's true.
Now, his reactions will be like super genuine 6-year-old at Disneyland.
What else will make him have orgasms?
But I think I'm curious what he does when they do like the standalone segments. Is he going to talk about trains and public transit, or is he going to talk about cars? But do
you think they're going to do that on the? I think you're confusing that with Top Gear. They never did that on the Grand Tour.
Wasn't, they didn't they?
Yeah, and then they fucking got away from it.
Well, I'm wondering. I don't know. Maybe they'll go back to that. I don't know.
Maybe that's true.
I think I would be shocked if they don't do standalone car reviews because James and Thomas are so good at it.
That's true.
And it seemed like maybe the trio was bored of it because they'd done everything and they didn't have the time or whatever. Mm-hmm. But these guys might still be into it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm very happy for them.
Yeah.
They earned it, so good for them. Have fun with the train guy. That's cool. It'll be a good time, I think. Let's see. Did you see this? Did you see this Ford FX package that they did for the Mustang?
Asked about it, though.
I saw it, and I saw some outlet, I forget which, said... the new FX pack is a fever dream for Fox Body fans. I saw something like that. Whatever, we don't have to judge the title. But I was like, oh, I am a Fox Body fan. I will click on this story. And then I looked at the thing they made. Doesn't it look corny as shit? Whatever Fox Body, I am a huge fucking Fox Body fan. I don't need to remind everybody of that. But, like, what exactly are the bits that we're looking at that are these amazing... That's a great picture right there. Is that a Ford photo? That's from Ford, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Other than the color, and I do love the color, this is the sort of turquoise color from the 93 Fox Body, which, the color, I get. The color looks great. I will give them that. What are these white teeth and the white wheels?
Oh, the accents.
What is this?
Well, the teeth, I think, have been a part. They were on the RTR, Von Gittin, like the RTR ones would sell colored teeth, I guess. I think it's like indicating intakes. On most of the GTs, they're just black, but they are there, I'm pretty sure. So they decided to color match them to the wheels, which look like rally wheels. A little bit like turbo fanny, right? Not turbo fan. You know what I'm saying? What's the fucking rally wheel? Yeah,
they're kind of like
which I think look very out of place on a Fox Body or on a Mustang. They look like they belong on an Audi or even like a Subaru WRC car
or a hot hatch, a rally inspired hot hatch, especially in white. And dude, what turquoise and with white wheels is bad. That is a bad, clashy color combination. But I'm confused about what is supposed to be Fox Body about this.
Fair. I mean, other than the turquoise color, but like if that's it, did they do anything on the inside, like with the gate?
All right, look, I'll give them this plaid insert. That looks nice.
Did Fox Bodies have plaid inserts?
The Fox Body did have a cloth that had a plaid-ish pattern on it. Okay. Yeah, and there's a Fox Body font on the dash. See that Mustang GT? That's the Fox Body font.
Did they do anything with the gauge cluster? That would be like the last.
Well, they already had that. They already had the sort of emulator. But the wheels I don't get. This haloed white badge I don't get. The teeth I don't get. They could have done it I think if they wanted a good detail, they could have done Mustang GT on the rear 3/4 glass. That's a great Fox Body detail that went away after that, and I think that would have worked. But like these wheels do not look like the 1993 GT wheels.
No.
They don't look like the fucking Cobra wheels. They don't look like any Fox Body wheel at all.
Yeah, the Cobra wheels would have been great. I mean, they're simple 5-spoke,
That's
right?
why I asked you about if that photo was a Ford photo, because it shows it next to the Cobra, and it doesn't look anything like it. Oh, you passed it. Go back down.
My apologies to people watching.
There.
There we go.
Like, it looks worse when you put them next to each other. Those wheels
These
would be cool.
would be better.
Yeah.
I don't love the wheels on the original Fox body either, but they're definitely better.
But if we went to Patrick at HRE and said, make me a today version of that turbofan wheel, I guarantee you they'd come up with something a lot better and truer to the vibe than what they've done here.
Yeah. Yesterday, I saw a red GR86 with white wheels, which looked really good.
That could work.
Because it's Tommy Mackinnon, Mitsubishi, Lancer stuff. But yeah, the teal and the white is a little
White
bit
wheels
aggressive.
are not always a fail. But in this case, the design of the wheel doesn't match the car, and turquoise with white is clashy and ugly. And I'm fucking colorblind. Come on now.
Yeah, this looks like a shower drain or something like that. There's not enough pores.
The color is good, though. I do love on its own. If it had regular wheels without the white shit, the color's nice.
Yeah. Interesting.
Baby, what are we doing over here?
I don't know.
But how about let's talk about something good? Did you look downstairs in the underground level of
I
WCCS?
did. France has arrived.
Vive la France!
Yeah, I don't know how they did that, but I'm really happy that
I
they
think
did.
David Twigg sent the bat signal back. Is that?
He FedExed us a car.
Dude, shout out to TST fan Ben. I don't necessarily want to use his last name. Ben C. from France, who shipped his Alpine A110 to the new one, the current one.
The new one.
The new one, the modern one. Shipped it to the East Coast, I think Jersey or something, drove it, road tripped it across the U.S. to here, left it here with us, told us to film it, which we haven't done yet because I just got back. And then he's going to pick it up and go do the Pebble Beach thing in August.
Perfect.
So I haven't asked him exactly how much I can drive it yet. At first, I was like, yeah, we'll just film it, but I don't want to. And then I went downstairs this morning and saw it down there, and I was like, I'm going to take that home today. I'm not, but I'd like to.
Right, yeah. You got to ask what the mileage limits are on a show and display thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, man, just looking at that thing downstairs, boy, are we Americans missing out.
I'm so excited.
Fucking, it's so cool looking, that thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like... It might be a little bit of a meet your heroes because every journalist that's driven this car just says how perfect it is. But I believe that, like, that many upvotes, I believe. You know,
from people that I trust
respect.
to determine what good is.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never met anybody who's like, yeah, that sucks. Mm-hmm. and there are cars that are considered great where opinions are hugely divided.
Very true.
Alpha 4C.
Yeah.
There are people who I generally trust about things who have said they like that car. And I've stopped trusting them afterwards, but they're entitled to their opinions. But shit, I can't wait to drive that motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's...
It might, I don't know, it'd be interesting. I can't wait to see how it compares to a Mira.
Yeah.
I know I think it's
Should
a
we
little
get
lighter.
an Mira and film a comparison test?
That's
And
not a bad
also a
idea.
base Cayman?
I mean, yeah,
Probably.
if we can,
We probably
that would be
should.
amazing.
We should do
Especially
those
because viewers are more interested in seeing cars they can buy here. We've
Right.
learned that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the title's like the best car you can't buy, people go, well,
The best car you
buy it.
can, and then one you can't.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
We
cool.
should consider these things. We should, maybe. I think we finally have dates for the live podcast. I think we're going to try this. We're working with our friends at The Shop, which is like a car storage club thing. There's 3 of them. There's 1 in Seattle. There's 2 in Texas. But we're going to try the Texas ones. We're going to try, I believe it's going to be July 24th and 25th. July 24th, Houston, 25th, Dallas, or vice versa. We haven't figured that out yet. But for our Texas people, we're going to come to you. I think it's going to be about 150, 200 tickets a show. At the Shop in Dallas and Houston. And I think it's actually happening. And Christian James Hand is going to come with us. And he will, and so you'll actually get to see Christian James Hand live also, which is fucking really
it's a treat.
cool.
It really is.
It's like I didn't even want to do it until he would come. Like, I know we do a good show, but our show is a good podcast. It's not necessarily on its face set up to be a live show. A live show has to have an energy, and Christian has that energy for the live performance, which I think will add so much value to what we're doing. Plus, I like hanging out with Christian. Going on the road with him is fun.
It'll be very fun. And for everybody, like, if you're not familiar with him, it will change the way you listen to music for the better. I promise you.
So, Texas people, July 24th and 5th, Dallas and Houston, and I'll have more about that. Also, what's this today? Today is Tuesday, the
June 10th.
What is next Monday?
16th.
The 16th. Monday the 16th, Patreon pre-sale for the Green Notice Canyon. The Mother of Pearl will be 2 weeks behind it. So it's 100 units, individually numbered, Patreon only. So we are going to put the link up in the Patreon page on Monday to buy it. I think we're going to, I don't know, whatever time, I haven't figured it out yet. I'll put a post with the time. Like, you'll know what time before then, but it's going to be next Monday. It's going to be in the morning Pacific time. So if you want to get the green, that's going to be then 100 units only, and then 50 more units of the Tahitian Black Pearl 2 weeks after that. No price impact from tariffs. The prices will be the same. It's going to be same $11.99 like all the other ones for the green. Green with gilt, with gold indices and gold hands, and $17.50 for the Mother of Pearl, because the dials are a lot more expensive because they're a natural material. And as a bonus, I think, not 100% on it yet, but I think the Pearl one will have an oyster-style bracelet instead of the Jubilee-style bracelet, because oysters and pearls go together.
What's the difference between those?
This is the 5-link across.
Yep.
An oyster is a 3-link.
Oh, okay.
It's a two fins on the outside and a fat in the middle.
Why do they call it oyster? Just because it was designed by Rolex for the oyster or something?
For the oyster perpetual, yeah. Probably, I think. Yeah. I would guess that goes back to there. So those are fun. Live podcasts in July. The end of the canyons, the last 150 watches are going out. It's a big month.
Yeah.
It's a big month.
Live shows can be so fun.
Yeah. So before we get to questions, because we have a lot of them, and there's no way we're going to cover all the questions we got today. It was way too many.
It was 9 pages. We'll save them.
Yeah,
Don't worry,
we'll
folks.
run them out. Your questions are valuable. Shout out to our patrons, of course, patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast. You do have to be a patron to get either of these watches, at least unless the patrons don't want all of them. Whatever's left will be released to the public, but I suspect it won't be many, if any. We love you. Thank you for being a patron. We certainly appreciate it. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Tomorrow, Zach will post it this afternoon, but our show tomorrow we're going to do with our buddy Sergio, who is an immigration attorney here in L.A. And he's got a big practice. He knows a lot about the craziness that is happening in Los Angeles right now. And I want to try to have like a educated and level-headed discussion about, how we can sort of support our neighbors in this, because it's just unbelievably terrible, like what is happening with these sort of, snatching people off the fucking street. We're not talking about catching murderers. They're raiding home.
Right.
They're raiding Home Depots.
Well, and if they're misidentified, I mean those are the stories that are frustrating, when they're like citizen arrested or deported, even despite showing identification.
Yeah.
And that's the indefensible part.
Yeah, and so I want to talk to someone who has a lot of knowledge about the what's happening outside the fucking sensationalist news reports. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be tomorrow at what, 12? What did I say, 12? I think so, yeah. I think it's 12. Okay. So if you have questions for that, make sure you check the Patreon later today. Right. Shall we get to the rest of this? Whoa. big, long paragraph. Hannah's Disappointed Puzzles says, have we ever considered more philanthropic efforts? A smoking tire foundation could host events, track days, etc. In my experience, these people, car enthusiasts, are generally kind-hearted, etc., etc. I haven't really thought that much about it. I mean, I think we try to do a little good here and there where we can on individual bases, but I have not thought of a bigger foundation.
I mean, I would like to do charitable things with TST, but I don't want to make it a revenue stream because this person said you can pay yourself, and there's plenty of charities that take a lot of admin fees, which the people have to do work. But I think what we were discussing 2 weeks ago was new revenue sources for us, not a charity event that also acts as a revenue source for us. I don't like that.
I don't want to do charity and then take a salary from it.
Right.
I understand that is a thing that a lot of people do. It wouldn't make me feel so great.
Same.
If I can donate my time or donate some money or sell a thing and give all the money away, if we're going to do something for charity, I don't want to keep any of it.
Yeah.
It's a great thought. But I think I don't have time to run another business that's a charity either. So like, if we see something, we're going to try to do something, and maybe Sergio has a way that we could all do something together.
Sure.
For people tomorrow. Itsy Bitsy Spyder says, given that you can no longer order a Spyder new, just the RS, if you were doing your Boxster today, would you stick with the Spyder or would you choose a GTS? That's actually a tough question because I'd probably drive the car a little more if it was a GTS. If I had the power top, I'd probably drive it more. There's times where I'm like, I don't want to deal with that occasionally. But I think still going with the Spyder is probably justified. With that much power, the extra things that you get, the higher starting point is worth it. Plus, it's a more special car. Oh, we already covered the FX pack question there. 00 Slow. I'm considering a color change to my B7 RS4. Would you do a paint or a wrap? It's a driver with 80,000 miles, all in cost. What's the better value if I hold on to it for another 5 years?
When you say 5+ years, if you're doing 5+ years, I would say you need to call around and get estimates on both. That's what I did. I found out how much a good paint job would be. And for me, getting it wrapped was cheaper. And, but getting a wrap that will last 5 years, which my PPF wrap should, is expensive. And depending on where you live.
He's talking about a color change paint job.
Oh, right.
Color
very
change
good point.
Paint job means engine out, glass
That's very
out.
true. Right.
That's not a nose respray.
That's also why I wrapped it, because I wanted it to be green, and my engine bay is blue.
Yeah.
And this was a way I could just kind of do it without ripping all that stuff out. So unless if your car is black, God bless you, you can do a color change. The engine bay can be black.
Yeah.
But if the engine bay is red and you want to color change it, if you're doing a full color change with the engine bay, I guarantee that will be over $10,000 because at least.
Oh, I think it would be
probably
more
20.
like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to get my car sprayed in LA, by good people at OEM level, they said started at 15 was going to be more like 20, and that was without color change.
Yeah.
So quality of work will vary, your pricing will vary as well. But I would say call around before you say I'm definitely doing one or the other.
Yeah. And if your paint is pretty good, like Zach's wrap really got out of hand because
I mean the paint got out of oh the wrap
your wrap got out of hand because your paint was really bad.
Correct.
You had like your paint had cancer.
Yeah.
If this is 80,000 mile driver paint, but a really good correction can make it smooth, then your wrap is $5,000-$6,000, not 10.
Good point.
And I would probably just do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend too much on it because then you take it off and you've got an 80,000 mile paint job underneath. It's not like you're protecting something that's precious.
Yeah.
I would also maybe consider getting a factory respray. Maybe this color is just tired, and if you factory respray it, it's not as expensive and it looks like a new car and it's the right color.
True.
That's just another
Yeah, those are good options.
door C, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Travis Pastrana's primary care provider. Do you think Travis Pastrana's like, man, we really need some universal health care in this bitch?
I think he might be the reason we don't have it, because they're
Right.
like, you will bankrupt the whole system
Do you
yourself.
think he's insurable?
No.
I bet he's not insurable.
I bet he just pays out of pocket.
I bet his contract with Red Bull or whoever includes
I'm
whatever
sure.
guaranteed.
I think
they
they probably have the best
I bet
PTs in the
no
world.
fucking provider would cover
Yeah,
Travis Pastrana.
it's probably a business. It's a capex for his company. They're like, all right, we got to have $100,000 every year to fix his body.
Okay, every time I talk about my buddy's WRX, he immediately corrects me and says it's not a WRX, it's an STI.
Love it.
That's both great and so annoying.
I did that.
Am I wrong that it's still a WRX, just the STI version? I don't see why that would be different than calling someone's Mustang GT a Mustang. You are 100% right, and also you are ignoring the insecurity that this person has about this very specific issue, and you just may need to indulge them. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right. Yeah,
You
that's a
are
good point.
right, but if you fight this, your life will be worse. This is an insecure person that
That's
can't
so funny.
handle you not recognizing that they bought the nicer one.
Well, it's more expensive,
every
nicer,
time.
better, all those things. Yeah, it is funny. I would love to know how old these folks are. I mean,
It's not a
gentlemen.
WRX, it's an STI. Oh my God, you suck.
that's so funny. That is interesting. Like if you say like, "Oh, my Mustang," people don't go, "You mean my GT?" They go, "Yeah, it's a Mustang." But for some reason,
What? All right, how? What? All right, so let me think.
is there another one like that?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you know
who
what I
would be
bet?
the most insecure? Like, if you had a GT3 RS and someone said he drives a 911, would you be? Was that? I think that person might be a little sensitive.
They
about
might.
it.
That might happen. I bet Golf R32 owners. Oh, I bet this is more. I mean, it's the same thing. It's a trim level. Actually, that's even a better example.
If you buy the $50,000 version of the
$20,000
$30,000 car, right?
Right.
If someone has a 458 Special and they go, oh, he has a 458, that person's not going to get shitty about it.
Because you're being called rich either
on
way.
the front,
Yeah.
on the front,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Likewise, anything above that.
I wonder
right?
if Corolla, like if you
GR.
get, right, GR Corolla, and especially if you get the what's the edition with the M? I forget.
Oh, the Marizo.
Marizo. You know, if someone's like, oh, they have a Corolla, and you have to quit because you basically go, I spent $60,000, not
It's a
25.
Marizo, bro.
Yeah.
It's a Marizo.
Yeah, that it is. It's insecurity a little bit. For
That's
sure.
how to really get fucking side-eyed at a party. You get defensive over it being a Marizo at a party, even a party full of car people. I'd be like, ew, go away. Stink.
Well, if it's car people, but it is funny that you can use the same name to describe a car that's $25,000 that's financed by a college student, or a engineer in his 20th year on the job bought for his autocrossing and he spent $55,000. You know, and yeah, but fundamentally it's an insecure person who needs to make sure that everyone knows that they have the better version of the cheap car, and that's what it is. So if you want to bother them, call it a WRX or just call it an Impreza.
I bet. See, it's not when the two of them are talking to each other. It's when there's other people there.
Of course.
It's got to
Yeah,
be, right?
right. Yeah, that's really funny
That's
though.
so funny.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Oh, sidebar. You know, Hannah has a new car obsession, and you're not going to believe what it is.
STIs.
No. Fiat Pandas. She wants a Fiat Panda now. Of course, she can't have one
makes
because they
sense.
don't make them here. But she saw these things. The Fiat Panda is basically the Corolla of North Central Italy. Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
And as well,
What
they
year
should.
does she want?
Like a new one.
Really?
Yeah, like the one that everybody has, like a 2022 or whatever the fuck. Like the little tall hatchback.
With all the cladding on it? Does she like all the cladding or less cladding?
I don't know. Pull up some pictures. I wasn't
show
checking
you.
fucking regs to see what year they all were. Oh no!
Well, I mean, there's a variety of
not
of
this
shapes.
new. Oh, that's the new one. No, we don't want
This?
that. No, scroll down.
These
Not
are-
2024. No. Maybe it's like try like 2015. Maybe.
Oop.
20, no, even that's too. That one. Yeah.
Which one?
The top left photo, like pretty much like that. Maybe that one, and maybe a little older than that one. That's like the one generation ago, 2020. 2015, something like that. Whatever.
All right.
She just likes it. A tall little hatchback. She was like,
we have those at home, Matt. We have crossovers everywhere.
No, here's not the size of this.
That's not
These
a
are
bad-looking
small.
car. Oh.
So, dude, we had a really funny car moment in Verona. We walk out of our hotel. We walk back to our hotel, which is on sort of an alley. It's a nice hotel, but it's like a small little boutique-y 20-room hotel. So it's like down this alley.
Okay.
So as we're walking back to the hotel.
We call those hostels, man.
Yeah, definitely. There's a Mercedes GLE coupe parked in front of the hotel. And Hannah goes, "Oh my God, what is this giant fucking car?" And I go, "Hannah, you've been contextualized." Like I baptize her. I'm like,
yeah.
There are 4 of these on our street.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I'm like, this person, this person, this person, and this person all have them. I was like, you see 4 of these every single day on our street. We come to Italy and you refer to this as a giant fucking car. See?
Yeah.
I was like, this is what happens.
Yeah, that's really funny. It just depends on what's around
for
it.
3 days.
For sure. I mean, we had the Black Series on that drive trip, and I had to park it in this tiny town in France, and I was like, this car is too huge. But then when you're on the highway, totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was kind of a funny car context.
That's very funny. Yeah. What is this giant thing? Because all the doors are small and old. Yeah, yeah.
And it looked huge.
I'm sure, because it is. It's a large vehicle.
Yeah.
It's a large vehicle, period. But then when you're surrounded by a tiny city that was made 1,000 years ago for people that are on donkeys. Yeah, these are donkey-sized streets. These are not GLE-sized streets.
All right, what do we got next?
Oh.
Fiat Pandas. Shout out to him.
Let me get rid of
James May was onto something. The Fiat Pandas. Okay. Gravel Trap Hero. Vintage Bulova versus Devil Diver reissue. Thoughts on vintage versus remakes? I mean, here's my thought. If you want to use a watch as an everyday watch in normal situations, you don't want a vintage watch, really. Any vintage watch. They're just not as durable. They might leak. They might break. And I would get a new one that has the old vibe if what you want is something to wear every day. If you're collecting vintage watches and you wear it once or twice a month in a special situation where you know it's not going to get smashed up, then cool, vintage. But I can't be trusted wearing vintage shit every day. I'll break it. It's not for me. But I feel you. Whoa. Complicate and add weight. Found a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Final whatever the fuck edition is an eye-watering $107,000. Is there an edition of car you can think of that gets less value for money than that? That's got to be a 392 with every possible fucking option on it. I mean, that's a tough question. Could you get less for more than that at $107,000?
It does indeed have a V8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 392 with probably every off-road thing they make.
Yeah. And bronze and shit. I mean, here's what's
Less
crazy.
value for money.
I bet
early Hummer EVs.
Sure.
Same price, less value for money.
Early Lucids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any early EV that just lost,
and I'm not just to shit on it. The first edition Cybertruck, because it was shipped without the things that made it different from the second edition Cybertruck.
Anyone who bought full self-driving for $16,000, they got almost zero for their money. Here's the funny thing about these Jeeps. They hold their value shockingly well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that if you got one of those at sticker price and sat on it and babied it for a little bit until they don't make the V8 one anymore, you'd get almost every dollar back.
Yeah, probably. Someone's always going to want... I mean, look, the 392 was fun. That thing sounded great, went fast, and you have all of the Jeep off-road ability, which it has plenty of, lots of torque, probably a little heavier than the smaller engines, but that's a rad thing. And like years ago, we drove the AEV V8 swap Jeeps before they were putting them in there, and they were selling really well. Like I think it's a good combination of parts for the job that Jeeps do well.
Yes, and it's just like the C7 ZR1. It's the dumbest biggest, brashest, silliest version, or the ACR Final Edition. All of those have been fabulous investments if you got one at sticker. So, yeah, it's real stupid, but I bet you most of those people get their money back out of them. Or at least most of it, actually. NK says, if the Alpina B3 was available in the U.S., would it be a popular option versus the M3 Touring? And would you pick it over the M3 Touring? I would rather have an Alpina than an M car for road driving, period. That's how I like to drive a little more with that type of car.
I mean, Alpinas tend to be softer sprung and more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think for that reason, I don't know if it would be more popular than the M3 because the marketing of the M3 and the market likes aggressive driving and drifting and stuff. But if you saw one of these, you would know that person is a true connoisseur.
I would fuck with this Alpina B3.
Yeah.
For sure.
Looks very good. Good color.
Anti-siliconsciousness. Okay, that's cool. I'm about that. Let's see. Finally ready to go to a big boy watch. Budget of $10K. I love the heritage and whimsy of the silver Snoopy Speedmaster. Those are fun. Is that a safe place? Safe place to park that kind of money? If not, recommendations. Man, okay. If you want a Speedmaster, a Snoopy Speedmaster is a good place to park money. They're rare versions. They're always going to be more desirable than the regular moon watches, which are much, much more common. I don't have a lot of other recommendations because watches are very personal. I mean, if you like Speedmasters, there's a bunch of different variants. If you're willing to buy one, they do have a little bit of early depreciation, so you can kind of save some money getting one secondhand as long as it's like totally legit. Rolex still a great place to park money, but other brands are really coming up right now. A secondhand Grand Seiko is a great place to park money. Right now, like mid-tier brands, dude, like Panerai and Breitling and stuff like that, secondhand, real cheap compared to their MSRPs. But it's such a personal thing. If you're going to step up to a big boy watch, it's a 5-figure watch, I can't tell you what you like. But if you like Speedmasters, I will tell you that the Snoopies are great. And they're fun. They are whimsical. I do like a Snoopy. Okay. Lane Meyer K12 says, a few years ago I bought a well-equipped used 2017 base 911 with PASM, Sport Chrono, and Sport Exhaust. Why don't motoring journalists highlight its value, especially in the used car market, over a 911T? The T is a base model with some options that few people will ever, quote, need, like torque vectoring and thinner windows. The price difference is huge. The value proposition is praised. Why so little value for the Carrera?
Now, I left this reply in. I don't do that very often, but for context, they said if you go, Tim A., good commenter, replied, if you go back to Motor Trend, Car and Driver, etc., from back in those days, the base Carrera was actually universally praised.
Do you remember that car?
No.
The base Carrera with a manual in red is the car that I raced Mike Spinelli up the 33 for a drive on NBC Sports. He was in a Camaro 1LE.
That's right.
And I was in that car, and I personally reviewed that fucking car.
Really?
And said it was awesome.
There you go.
And as a matter of fact, I think I did a TST video with it also.
There you go.
Don't come at me and say I didn't say that shit was dope, because I said that very fucking car was dope on television.
And that means it's real. No, that's amazing. That's incredibly ironic. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, the T, why is the T better now? Because the diff does make a difference when you start to drive fast.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe quote most people can't feel a really good diff, but fucking I can, and a lot of good drivers can.
Yeah.
And money in, money out, the T is the more enthusiastic option, and therefore the better buy. But yeah, I praise that car, motherfucker. But respect, it is a good car. He's not wrong that it's a good car. It was a good car. Yeah. It's funny that they brought up that exact car because I remember that very press car. Okay. Let's see. Disillusioned in Detroit. After the most recent street takeovers, at 2 a.m., waking up my children, I'm having a hard time being positive about anything automotive. The impact cars have had on our society is not good, and I know you guys know it. Well, it's goods and bads.
Two blanket statement.
There's goods and bads. The question is, should I raise a child to be an automotive enthusiast when I know it could wreck them? That is a very weird question.
Yes.
Yeah, like, first off, maybe you wait and see if the child shows interest in being an automotive enthusiast, and if they do, you nurture the positive aspects of it. And maybe if they don't show interest in being an automotive enthusiast, you don't force it on them. That's an option.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you want to raise your child, and I say this as someone without kids, so I'm the perfect person to preach about this, to be a responsible person, right? And almost like automotive enthusiasm is an interesting one because similar to firearms, like you can do damage if you use the hobby irresponsibly. You can hurt other people, you can hurt yourself. But I think ultimately it's about raising them to be a responsible driver and, you know, inform them why takeovers are stupid, dangerous, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, controlling youth is challenging, but like I was into skateboarding and drag racing when I was in high school, and there were ways to do that relatively safely, and there are ways to do that shit recklessly and get in trouble, get arrested, or whatever, and just, I don't know, raise your kid to actually
but before there were street takeovers, there was street racing.
There was.
And like it's not like young idiots haven't always done dumb shit in cars. Mm-hmm. You could say, well, is it more dangerous to do donuts in an intersection, or is it more dangerous to go 150 miles an hour through red lights and with cross traffic? Like, what's worse? Like, there's always going to be people that are doing shitty things with cars. You should teach your child to be responsible.
I would say that the simple answer would be take the number of car enthusiasts that are age 16 to 24 right now and the percentage of them that go to takeovers.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that are not doing that. Yeah. So make sure your kid is one of the people that don't do that.
I don't really know anything about that next one.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Zach Clappin Cheeks, right. Bronco Raptors now hovering around $60K used, which is a lot of truck for the money. I live in Colorado and feel like it's good for the mountains. Would the Raptor be your first choice for a fun off-roading or camping car? I saw a story that Ford just knocked like $10K off the MSRP.
Wow.
You don't hear that often about cutting prices on an enthusiast vehicle like that.
Don't.
Maybe the Raptor, the Ranger Raptor, you know, was really eating into a lot of it. I mean, the Bronco Raptor was very expensive.
It was really expensive.
It was cool, but the price was a big yikes.
It's also been out for 2 years now, right? I would say short answer, no. I think for mountains, I think it's too wide, and you don't gain any interior space for that size. As I said, I think in the review and when I reviewed an H1 Hummer for Doug, like the Raptor has the same footprint width-wise as an H1 Hummer, but you don't have the interior space of an H1 Hummer. I mean, granted, H1 Hummer has a huge center console, but like it's a small vehicle inside with this huge footprint, and in snow, you don't really want the super wide tires unless you're trying to float above the snow. I think there's so many trims of of Bronco that would be excellent for what you want to do with it that I don't think the Raptor is the move.
Yeah, and if you really do want a Raptor, you can get a brand new Ranger Raptor for that.
True.
Which I actually think might serve that need a little better. Maybe. Depends
on if they. I mean, the enclosed thing is nice when it's snowing. You have to put a camper on the back, etc. I just think the Raptor is great for California open desert stuff. We've said this before.
Yeah,
it's a Baja runner car.
Trails.
It's very wide for trails. So Colorado is probably a little bit tighter. I would just go with Sasquatch or any of the other ones that they offer.
Defender.
Or Defender
would be nice. I mean, I realize there's a reliability thing.
There is.
But also that's Defender. Fine. Defenders are sweet.
When they're working. Yeah. They're really nice. I accidentally skipped this nice cams one.
Okay. Oh, okay. My nice cams. My brother's looking to replace his M235i with something he can daily but higher performing for 5 or so track days a year. Leaning towards M2 competition. Yeah. Is there better value that makes more sense? Must be automatic and have back seat and be somewhat reliable.
For 50 grand.
Automatic.
Is there any decent 911 with PDK for 50?
Sure. I mean, you could have a 997 Porsche with PDK, 997.2. Carreras, those will with the right options. That's a trackable a few times a year. Plenty of Caymans, Cayman S. Oh, back seat. No, back seat. Sorry.
I also think that the M2's back seat it has a pretty tall roof in the back, so it's more usable unless you just have a child seat for like a 911.
I mean, look, you could get a Camaro ZL1 with the 10-speed auto for that, and that's probably a thing.
That's an exciting thing.
That's
I would actually.
Real fast.
You should take a stopover at SS1LE before you go to ZL1.
True.
If you're coming from M235 and new to tracking.
You could also get a Mustang Mach 1 with that same 10-speed.
That is such
would
a good
be
car.
a real good time.
That's such a good car.
There's a few options there. Yeah. But also the M2 competition is a lovely car.
That would be a better track car than the Mach 1. The
Yeah.
Mach 1's a better overall car, I think.
Yeah.
But good options.
Okay, Melissa says, I recently had my '07 Jeep Liberty serviced, and my mechanic noted that while they're still in good shape, my tires are date-coded June 2019, even though I purchased them new from a reputable shop in July 2021. After some research, it seems this isn't all that uncommon. I know you two have talked about the 5-year rule for tires. Is that a hard and fast rule for a commuter car in Portland, Oregon? That is a very good question. And you do not need to worry. Your tires are probably fine. The 5-year rule, it really starts to come into play when you're talking about like sticky high performance tires where the tackiness will really decline over time. For a Jeep Liberty, I think you could probably, if the tread is in good shape and your mechanic is looking at them and inspecting them for cracks, I think you could stretch that out for another year or 2 or maybe even 3 as long as you keep an eye on them and are vigilant about them. Obviously, you're vigilant about them. So you're not going to all of a sudden go, "Oh, it's been 10 years." You're now going to check them, which is good.
It's also drier and the UV index is much higher here. Like, you know, Southern California cooks paint, cooks everything. I bet we dry out tires at a higher rate than someone up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Also, you're right. It is totally common for a manufacturer to ship a tire to a retailer or a transfer warehouse where it then sits on a shelf for a year or 2. And that's totally a thing that happens. It drives me fucking nuts when it's like a sticky-ass R-compound tire and that happens. Usually for a client of mine, not for me personally. And I've actually returned tires. They won't let you return them for that. That's not like, you can't be like, I want one with a newer one.
I want the fresher milk.
But I've just returned them for another, been like, doesn't fit, and then just ordered another one and see if
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
And I've gotten different tires.
Wow.
It's worked half the time it works. But Melissa, I wouldn't worry. You can drive on your tires. The fact that you're checking and you know, it's fine. It's fucking annoying to buy a brand new tire that's 2 years old though. And it's totally common. It sucks. Yeah. Rage Against the Touchscreen. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
7.5 out of 10.
Ooh, the next one's good too.
Are the final years of the R35 GTR overpriced? Yes. Yes. The market for non-Nismo versions seems nuts, especially T-Spec or Skyline Edition in Bayside Blue. I'm interested in a 2020 or newer, but the asking price is in line with a 991.2 Turbo S. Honestly, production numbers. There's just selling so few of them, and it's the last. They're just trying to get theirs while they can. I wouldn't fucking pay that. No way.
I agree. I think it'll be hard to keep that value.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, a new 99 or a Turbo S is going to depreciate a little bit also, but I think it's a superior car in pretty much every way. So I would rather buy one of those.
And here's the other problem. I bet you those limited edition new versions, I bet 80% of them get parked with delivery miles. And so if you buy one and you want to drive it, well, now yours is the shitty one because all these other ones have delivery miles.
Right, because so many people are just collecting and waiting to flip. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the Bayside, I drove one that was Bayside. It looked amazing, but I remember driving it and going, for the money they're charging, this is basically the same car as some of the previous years. Such tiny changes.
And they're such big cars with such small interiors. Yes. I just don't like driving them.
Yeah.
I don't. If you love them, like I get it. I do. I understand why people like them, but God, do I fucking think they stink.
I think you have to be a huge Nissan fan or really into modifying them because they hold up to mods really well. But even then, so does a Turbo S. It's a better car to live with. The greenhouse is better. I mean, it's I think superior vehicle in every way. Yeah,
dude. And if you've got 991.2 Turbo S money, that's like high. But that's like $170 to $150 to $200,000. That's a bunch of money to play with. You're talking about legitimately great cars, not just the Turbo S. You can buy a dozen legitimately great cars. Yeah. Silence of the Lambo.
I like that one.
Pretty good. What are signs of maturing as a car enthusiast?
That's signs of maturing as a car enthusiast?
That's funny. When I started, I can recall. I can describe my own personal maturing into and then out of Burble Tune.
Did you have Burble Tune?
The
Vet was loud.
My Vet was really loud. My Vet didn't have Burble Tune; it just had no counts.
Didn't need it, yeah.
When the F-Type came out, when factory Burble Tune, loved it. It's the greatest. True. 10 years later, 2024. I will roll my eyes and go, oh, boy, when someone goes by with a Burble Tune.
Well, it became more common, which was annoying. It became less special because you could just add the tune to any BMW. I mean, you can literally get something called a gunshot tune for like your B58, which is dumb.
Yeah.
I think we had a great commenter once that said it. They were like, I had a gunshot tune and now I'm 29 and I think it's the dumbest shit in the world. And like, that is a clear sign you're maturing as an enthusiast.
Leaving the interior and or air conditioning in your cars, not doing like interior delete or AC
for saving
delete.
weight or something like that.
Yeah. Buying the shopping for the car that you actually need and not race car for the street.
I think not having a race car for the street in general, like your stance, your height, basically all these things that make you compromise your driving 99% of the time. When you get rid of that, that's a big sign of it. And probably not doing dumb shit like going to takeovers or doing burnouts or whatever.
When you realize it makes you look like a huge loser if you put your Instagram handle on the side of your car.
That is a weird thing. I don't know if I've ever followed anybody from doing that.
Ugh. You know what it's good for?
I don't
Evidence.
It doesn't bother me. I just go, I don't know. It's like a weird rolling billboard, but
lame.
I don't know.
So lame. Unshitboxed. Do hardtop convertibles generally have a more luxurious or quiet driving experience, and are they on par with the equivalent coupe? Good answer, and it's not not universal answer.
Right.
Heavily depends on the hard top, heavily depends on the soft top. Like some retractable hard tops are really good.
Miata RF is not, for example. That's
Miata
a very
RF,
loud car, no matter what.
McLaren's retractable hard tops, the Ferraris, even GM with the C8 Corvette, those are very good.
Mm-hmm.
The mid-engine ones, but like the old BMW, like 4 Series ones, the Volkswagen,
the EOS?
The EOS, like some of those 4-seater retractable hardtops are not so good.
I think the tech has changed. I also wonder if there's an advantage where the mid-engine car has a shorter roof to deploy.
Probably.
The distance is smaller.
Yeah.
So there's just less, the lever's smaller, there's less wiggle room, literally.
Probably.
Maybe that helps the noise.
And some of the high-end soft tops are amazingly refined. What did we just drive that had a great...
Well, not 911s have great. They have like the 3-panel or whatever it is.
Oh, the 911. We had the 911 T convertible, and then I drove the Aston Vantage Roadster, which has like 7 layers and was actually quieter inside than the coupe. Because it had smaller air volume because it wasn't a hatchback, and the coupe had like a carbon roof or whatever, and this was just all like putting up a hoodie.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think material science has advanced now where we're in that situation, thankfully. But for a long time, coupes were much quieter.
Yeah. a good my my Spyder's top has a 1 layer, and it's a little louder.
It's a UV hoodie.
Okay, I hate BRZs. Looking for a +1 for my BRZ. Okay, a new daily driver, budget of $55,000. I want a new. The new car would be mostly daily driven, occasional autocross and canyon driving. Right now, the front runner is a manual F80 M3. For the same price, are there any other super sedans in that price range other than the F80? Okay, 55 grand for a daily driver, occasional autocross and canyon drives. Okay, well that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good choice. F80 M3.
I mean, you could also, like we spoke about before, you could go M2 Comp or M2 or Camaro SS1LE or
Yep.
ZL1.
Yep.
All of those same things.
Those same Mustang,
Yep.
the Mach 1 for sure. That's a great sweet spot.
Can you get GT350s for 55 now?
Yep.
That's
Totally.
so fun.
GT350s, absolutely. You could get used C63s also.
Oh, and those
Would
have
be
a better 8-speed.
with the V8.
So that
those
would be
a
good.
good time.
Yeah, that is a good time.
Yeah,
That's a good
V8
car.
C63 would be a real nice time there, Clark.
You have a lot of good options. It just depends on what engine note you want and how much space you need, really.
Yeah. A lot of options. Depreciated Germans are right there. Okay.
Cat Farah, that's a good name.
Cat Farah's
That's
pretty
a great
good.
name.
Cat Farah's pretty good. I think I'm being haunted by 2010s era's Acura TSX sport wagons.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is happening to me because Acura only sold like 11,000 of these things, but I swear to God, I see them 2 to 3 times a week. Are there any relatively rare cars you see often that stick out to you? I hate to tell you, you probably see the same 3 TSXs over and over. We live in LA, so there's weird cars last longer here. I don't know about see over and over. There's more Chrysler TC by Maseratis here than I'm normally seeing.
That's true.
I see a lot of G-Wagon convertibles in LA, more than you normally would.
I saw 2 Pontiac Vibes white parked next to each other the other day, and I went, which is a Toyota Matrix underneath.
Yeah.
And that I don't see very often. That
Sure.
was very strange, and that was very Radwood surprising.
I'm starting to see Fisker Oceans being driven by Ubers.
Someone sent us a message. They were like, "I'm seeing a lot of these in New York. Do you know why?"
Yeah.
I do not know why.
Probably because some fucking company dumped them, bought them up for cheap, and is like leasing them for like $150 bucks a week or something to Uber drivers.
Yeah, they probably bought them for like $4,000. Yeah.
And they're just and a lot of Uber drivers just rent their Uber car.
Imagine if your Uber bricks because it's the Fisker Ocean and you're just stuck in the middle of the highway.
Imagine relying on that for a work vehicle. Yikes.
No, thank you.
Joe says, for $30K, would you rather own a GT500 or a Z06?
Z06.
Yeah, $30K doesn't get you much in GT500 land, unfortunately.
Well, all the generations before the most recent are pretty bad, in my opinion. And that's what you're getting.
You could convince me that 2011. 2011 is the aluminum block with the shorter gears. It's 1 year only. That's the best year. It has.
But it still had narrower tires. The
the
aluminum block was
it had
very
550 horsepower, not 650.
Not 662,
and it had
whatever.
shorter gears. So
Did we drive? We never drove this one, did
That's
we?
the one I took on Bull Run.
Oh, okay.
And ultimately, I think it was the best, most balanced of that. Like, it would spin the tires.
Sure.
But it had enough brakes. And
well, 'cause it
didn't
weighed
have that
less.
stupid long gearing. It had the
Okay.
shorter gearing.
That is a big plus.
It was nice. But it had the aluminum block, so it was lighter at the front end. It's basically a Ford GT motor in there.
All right.
That's the one, but those are not $30,000. $30,000 is like shitty 07s.
Well, it's steel iron. It's the iron block, narrow tire. Yeah, and then I would go Z06 because it handles better. Even the supercharged one that had breathing issues, you could probably solve that.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? One more, and then we call this.
Yeah,
a
we're at
program?
hour 20.
Yeah. Most fun with fire. Maybe not. That's describing our city today. I recently came into a $100 E46 convertible. Okay. Other than a manual swap, what mods would you do to a $100 E46? The car is mechanically fine. The soft top works, and it's completely stock. I repaired it after the purchase myself.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't do much. A running, driving, automatic convertible E46 for $100. I don't know. I think your money is worth. That's it. That's called a daily. You have a daily.
You could do a stereo because it's like I wouldn't do performance mods because it's a convertible.
Yeah.
So who cares? I mean, you could do an intake if you like the sound of it, but I would just do a stereo and call it a win. If the top works for $100, I am shocked.
Yeah, I was expecting to read that the top
or I guess
does not work.
maybe this person fixed it, but either way, like you're handy and it's just you have a sweet cheap daily.
Yeah, I might not even swap the trans. I might just take my gift horse and go home.
Our favorite BMW collector, well, Armin, he bought a. Yeah. He sold his E36, and then 2 weeks later bought a new E36.
I know. I shipped it to him.
Yeah,
he goes, "Can you give me a quote from this?" And I'm like, "Armin, dude, you gotta stop, buddy."
I know he can't.
Oh man. Okay. One more. This is an important one. We'll end on this. Piggly Wiggly Deluxe. I was discussing Leno's Law with a friend, and he told me if it passes, you'll be required to have classic car insurance for the newly smog-exempted cars. But then I heard Camisa say on a podcast that there's no such thing as classic car insurance. Camisa's sponsored by Haggerty. Jason.
Or is it a semantics issue where he?
If Jason wanted to be incredibly pedantic about this.
Well, even if he does, this is what Haggerty's website calls their own insurance. So I don't know. We'd have to listen to the show maybe before we comment and draw his ire, and he shows up with a 30-page dossier of fighting.
He's going to call me again at 4 o'clock in the morning but he has a show for a company called Haggerty, and that is the thing.
Classic car insurance.
Thing that they do. So classic car insurance is definitely a thing. To answer Piggly Wiggly Deluxe's question, is there such a thing as classic car insurance? And if so, what is it? It's basically the difference is it's agreed value insurance, right? If you go buy a new Ford F-150 and you call up Progressive and you say, I've bought a new 2025 Ford F-150, here's the VIN number, they give you a quote, right? If you then get into a crash, you don't decide what the insurance company has decided what your car is worth, because almost all brand new cars are depreciating assets. And so the insurance company will decide what your car has depreciated to at the literal point of impact. It's almost certainly going to be far less than the MSRP and definitely far less than what you owe on your loan, okay? Classic car insurance. Hello, Haggerty. I have just bought a 1985 Lamborghini Countach 5000 QV. I would like to insure it for $700,000. And they go, okay. And then they tell you what the premium is based on that price. And then if the car burns to the ground or gets totaled or gets stolen or whatever, you get paid the full amount that you have declared and they have agreed that your car's value is. Because of that, they won't allow you to insure your daily driver that way because it's not an appreciating or at least stable asset. And there's also a lot of other requirements to get, like, for instance, Haggerty won't insure a car that isn't kept in a secured garage. You can't get collector's insurance for a car that's parked on the street, things like that. So there's differences.
There's also, I'm reading this in real time. So in March, Car and Driver reported that the bill had been updated that removed the requirement for insurance. So the proposed bill originally required the eligible collector cars to be insured, but that requirement has since been removed. That was in March of 2025.
It shouldn't be required because the law shouldn't just apply to collectible cars. The whole point is that it should be broadly politically popular because it's not just giving breaks to rich people on their collector cars. There are other people who have to rely on their old cars for everyday transportation as well. And those people shouldn't be held back from this because of the smog.
Well, they would be required to have insurance if you're driving the thing around, but
right, but not collector's insurance because you're not going to get collector's insurance on your gardening truck.
Well, and especially if it's your only vehicle.
Right.
I can't get collector's insurance because I only have one car.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Come join us tomorrow. We're going to talk about immigrants and why they're actually our neighbors and not an invading force in Los Angeles. And love you. Stay safe. Welcome back.